Before you swipe away, imagine a single $1 coin sitting forgotten in a drawer worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, more than most people earn in years. This is not hype, this is real. American history stamped in metal, and the wildest part, most people have held these coins and never realized what they were touching. Today you are about to discover the top 5 most valuable first $1 coins ever found. Coins born at the very beginning of the United States. Coins surrounded by controversy, shortages, and mistakes. Coins so rare collectors spend a lifetime hunting them. Imagine holding a coin that carries not just the value of $1, but the heartbeat of a people, a legacy that began long before the United States existed, a story that stretches back centuries. Through struggle, triumph, innovation, and deep cultural roots, imagine a coin that is small enough to fit in your hand, yet powerful enough to honor an entire civilization and reshape the way Americans look at their own history. This is the story of the 2009 Native American $1 coin, a shining, golden piece that does far more than circulate. It educates, it remembers, it honors, and it connects us to the earliest chapters of the land we walk on. Welcome to Coins, the place where history breathes through metal, and every coin tells a story worth more than money. Today we travel into the world of the 2009 Native American $1 coin, a coin that changed what a US dollar could represent, a coin born from a bold act of Congress, a coin designed to highlight the achievements of Native Americans whose contributions had too often been lost, overshadowed, or untold. When people think of dollar coins, many imagine the Sacagawea dollar, released in 2000. But the 2009 Native American $1 coin marked a powerful transformation for the series. The law behind it, the Native American $1 Coin Act, required that starting in 2009, each new coin would feature Sacagawea on the obverse, keeping her honored place in U.S. coinage, while the reverse would change every year, showcasing a different Native American contribution to the country. This idea was revolutionary. It meant the dollar coin would no longer be static or simply commemorative. This coin would become an annual reminder of the deep historical impact Native peoples had on agriculture, government, language, communication, trade, exploration, and culture. The 2009 issue launched this historic program, and the theme chosen was agriculture, specifically honoring the remarkable achievements of Native Americans in agriculture that shaped the continent long before European settlers arrived. Crops like maize, beans, and squash, also known as the Three Sisters, formed the backbone of agricultural societies across North America. These crops were not random, they were a masterwork of ecological engineering planted together because each plant supported the others. The design on the coin captured this genius: a woman planting seeds in a field with young corn, beans, and squash growing all around her. This imagery symbolized knowledge, sustainability, connection to land, and the precious passing of tradition from generation to generation. The concept and artwork were carefully developed through extensive consultation with Native American leaders, organizations, historians, and artists, because the goal was not just to mint a coin, but to do justice to the story behind it. The obverse remained the iconic image of Sacagawea, the young Shoshone woman who guided Lewis and Clark, her calm, steady gaze, and her infant son Jean-Baptiste resting on her back represent courage, intelligence, and the often unacknowledged role of Native American women in shaping American exploration. Her image in 2009 stayed almost the same, but the coin gained a new inscription, adding the date and the mint mark to the edge rather than the face. This gave more room for the yearly changing reverse design and created a unique feel in the hand. The reverse design, the agriculture theme depicted by the planting scene, was artistically crafted by designer Norman E. Namath. The image has a storytelling quality. You can feel the motion of the woman bending to sow seeds. You can sense the soil being turned and the life it will bring forth. The sun in the background, the gentle curve of the land, and the arrangement of the crops all connect visually to Native traditions of balance and harmony. The inscriptions on the reverse, United States of America and $1, were laid subtly across the design, preserving the natural flow of the scene rather than interrupting The coin was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, though Philadelphia and Denver produced business strike coins meant for circulation, while San Francisco produced proof coins. For collectors, the business strike coins used the same manganese brass outer layer that gives the dollar coin its golden color, a combination of copper, zinc, manganese, and nickel designed to be durable yet visually distinctive. Even though dollar coins rarely circulate heavily in everyday commerce, Native American series remains important to collectors, educators, and historians because each year tells a new chapter of an American story that is too often left out to create a 2-hour documentary. You would explore not only the design and minting of the coin, but also the rich historical background that inspired it. You would dive into native agricultural innovation, explaining how the Three Sisters method worked, how indigenous farmers adapted growing techniques to different climates across North America, how ancient trade routes spread seeds knowledge and farming tools, and how these crops later sustained European settlers who would not have survived without native expertise. You would explore the political journey that made the 2009 coin possible, including the push from Native communities for better representation, the legislative process behind the Native American $1 Coin Act, and the debates within the U.S. Mint over how to create a coin series that honored Native achievements. Respectfully and accurately, you would expand into the story of Sacagawea herself, separating myth from fact, showing the real young woman behind the legends, highlighting her linguistic skills, her bravery in protecting the expedition journals and instruments, her diplomatic importance, and the fact that she was a mother while helping lead one of the most important explorations in American history. Then you would circle back to 2009, exploring the minting process, how dies are created, how blanks are prepared, how the presses strike each coin with tens of tons of pressure, how edges are lettered, how proof coins differ from circulation coins, and how finished coins are inspected, packaged, and released to collectors and to Federal Reserve vaults. You would explore the symbolism behind every detail of the 2009 design, explaining why agriculture was chosen, how the image reflects indigenous philosophies, how the Three Sisters combination represents more than crops, it represents unity, survival, and generational knowledge. You could include interviews with historians, tribal leaders, botanists, agricultural scientists, numismatists, and artists, each offering insight on why the 2009 Native American dollar coin is far more than a piece of currency. It is a cultural ambassador, a reminder, a teacher, and a tribute to civilizations that shaped the land long before the United States existed. As your video progresses, you could dive deeper into the wider series, exploring how the 2009 coin set the tone for the years that followed, the governance contributions of the Haudenosaunee, the trade routes, the military service of Native peoples, the written language, the code talkers, the innovations in water and environmental stewardship. All these stories that came after were made possible by the foundation laid in 2009, the year the series truly began. This coin offers endless narrative paths, including how native agriculture supported tens of millions of people before European contact, how ancient techniques like mound building, irrigation systems, seed preservation, and seasonal rotation became models for modern sustainable farming, how native plant knowledge influenced medicine, food science, and ecology today. You could even explore the cultural revival happening now as indigenous communities reclaim traditional foods, restore ancient crops, replant ancestral fields, and teach younger generations about the deep connections between identity and agriculture. The 2009 coin becomes the doorway to all these stories, making it perfect for a rich, immersive 2-hour documentary that captivates viewers who love coins, history, heritage, and storytelling. So if you are ready to reveal the roots of America before America, if you are ready to tell the story of a coin that honors the first farmers, scientists, and caretakers of the land, then the 2009 Native American $1 coin is your gateway. It is more than currency, more than metal, more than a collectible. It is a living, Narrative struck in gold, and it waits for storytellers like you to bring it to life through every minute of your video script. Welcome to Coins, where every coin has a story. And this one carries the story of a nation long before the nation began. Where every piece of American currency tells a story older, deeper, and more powerful than the world often realizes. And today you are about to enter the incredible journey of the United States presidential first dollar coin, a coin that was never just made to be spent, but designed to preserve the legacy of the leaders who shaped the nation from the very beginning. This is not just metal, this is memory, imagination, struggle, revolution, and pride forged into a single golden round piece that traveled through the hands of collectors, historians, and Americans who wanted to hold a fragment of the country's past in the palm of their hand. And in this 2-hour deep dive, you are going to discover exactly how this extraordinary series was born, how it evolved, what political battles and artistic challenges shaped it, and how the first presidential dollar became a monumental turning point in modern American numismatics. To understand the presidential first dollar coin, you must go back long before it was minted, long before the idea even existed, back to a time when the United States was growing rapidly into a world power, yet still lacked a modern circulating coin program that truly reflected the nation's presidents for generations. Collectors admired earlier commemorative coins, but the government had never launched a full series dedicated to every president in chronological order. And as the 1990s turned into the early 2000s, pressure grew from collectors, historians, and lawmakers who believed that American coins should carry more of the nation's story and inspire the next generation of citizens and students. This growing movement led to discussions in Congress, debates among mint officials, and meetings between artists and historians who all believed that the image of a president on a dollar coin could become more than a design. It could become a tribute, a tool for education, and a bridge connecting modern America to its founding era. After years of development, Congress finally passed the Presidential $1 Coin Act in 2005, a powerful piece of legislation that ordered the United States Mint to create a full chronological series of presidential dollar coins, starting with George Washington, the first leader of a new republic whose very presence on a circulating dollar would command attention and symbolize the beginning of a new educational era in American coinage. The act required the mint to release for presidential dollars per year, and for the first time portraits would be engraved in a way that balanced realism with elegance, maintaining a unified artistic identity across the entire series while honoring the individuality of each president. When 2007 arrived, the United States Mint prepared to launch the very first coin in the series, the George Washington Presidential Dollar. This coin marked the beginning of something historic. On its obverse, it carried a powerful portrait of Washington, bold, commanding, and refined. Around it, the inscriptions carried his name, the title President of the United States, and the years of his term, 1789 to 1797. But the most innovative feature of all was the edge lettering, something not used in common circulating American coinage for generations. The mint engraved the motto, "In God We Trust," the year of minting, and the mint mark on the edge, a decision made to protect the elegance of the design while also recalling early American coins that used similar methods. This fresh combination of classic tradition and modern technique made the George Washington Presidential Dollar stand out not only as a new collectible, but also as a major numismatic milestone. Collectors lined up for releases, millions of Americans examined the new coin with curiosity, and even children who had never cared about coins before suddenly found themselves learning the order of presidents, the dates of their terms, and the stories of their lives. All because of the small golden dollar in their hands. The first coin became a symbol of education, patriotism, and artistry, and it opened the door for the entire series that followed. But behind the scenes, the creation of the first presidential dollar coin was not simple. It required engravers to study historic paintings, sculptures, and period descriptions to create a portrait that was both accurate and powerful. Every line of Washington's face was studied, every contour carefully shaped to reflect his dignity and leadership. The mint worked with historians to ensure accuracy, and designers spent countless hours refining the balance between realism and stylization so the portrait would remain recognizable. And a small-size American coin design had entered a new era. And the first presidential dollar was the gatewise. The production began. Millions of coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each using high-speed presses that applied thousands of pounds of pressure to create crisp details on every piece. The mint faced technical challenges, especially with the new edge lettering, which required a separate striking operation, but each challenge pushed the mint to innovate and strengthen its quality control standards. The first presidential dollar coin became not just a release but a reflection of a modern mint pushing boundaries and reimagining what American circulating coins could be. The release of the George Washington presidential dollar also carried symbolic weight. The United States had issued many depictions of Washington on currency before, from the quarter to earlier commemorative coins, but this was the first time a circulating golden dollar honored him in a continuous series meant to document every president. Equally, the coin offered Americans a chance to reflect on the founding of the nation, the evolution of leadership, and the challenges each president faced. Washington's role as the father of the country, the commander of the Continental Army, and the first leader of a fragile republic became newly appreciated through the presence of this modern circulating tri. Beauty collectors soon discovered that variations and die differences made certain pieces more valuable. Some coins had weak edge lettering, some had doubled edge inscriptions, and a few rare examples were released without edge lettering at all. These became prized by collectors and added excitement to the series. The presidential first dollar coin had instantly transformed from a simple government release to a thrilling hunt for modern mint errors and varieties, fueling intense interest across the country. As the months passed, the George Washington presidential dollar established the identity of the entire program and set the standard for the coins that followed, but nothing could replace the significance of the first coin. The moment it entered circulation, it connected millions of Americans with their history and reminded the nation of the man whose leadership shaped its destiny. Imagine holding a piece of America in the palm of your hand, not just a coin, but a legacy, a timeline, a silent storyteller stamped in golden brilliance, carrying the faces and the journeys of the leaders who shaped a nation. Welcome to a world where metal meets memory, where history is not read in books but felt through weight, color, shine, and the powerful stories pressed into every ridge and every curve. Today, you and I together are stepping into the remarkable saga of the United States presidential first dollar coin, a coin series that transformed everyday pocket change into an extraordinary gallery of American leadership, a coin that celebrates courage, challenges, victories, transformations, and the complex narrative of presidents who stood at the helm of the country through war, peace, prosperity, and crisis. And as we step into this journey, get ready, because this is not just a discussion, this is a deep dive, a full-scale exploration designed to fuel a 2-hour documentary-level experience that brings coins, history, art, politics, metallurgy, and America itself to life like never before. Our story begins long before the first presidential dollar coin was struck, long before its smooth golden surface gleamed under mint lighting, long before collectors lined up excitedly to secure the newest issue. The idea of honoring presidents on circulating coinage has always been deeply embedded in American tradition. Just think about it. Washington on the quarter, Lincoln on the penny, Jefferson on the nickel, Roosevelt on the dime, Kennedy on the half-dollar. But the creation of a full presidential dollar series was something far more ambitious, something larger in scale and historical reach, something that would bring every deceased U.S. president into a single unified series introduced by the United States Mint under the Presidential $1 Coin Program, authorized by the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005. This series aimed to educate a new generation, preserve national memory, and create modern collectible art that circulated across everyday transactions. The first coin in that ambitious lineup featured the very first president of the United States, George Washington, a man whose name echoes across centuries with leadership, integrity, and iconic national identity. First George Washington presidential $1 coin, released in 2007, arrived with excitement and controversy, curiosity, and admiration. Because this coin was different in its look, feel, composition, and features, it used a golden color produced by a special manganese brass alloy, giving it a warm, distinctive shine and a modern yet historical vibe. Collectors immediately noticed its edge lettering, something rare in U.S. circulating coins and reminiscent of early American coinage. The edge inscriptions carried the year, mint mark, and mottos "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum," but in an unexpected twist, early coins sometimes missed these edge inscriptions, leading to a wave of rare error coins known famously as godless dollars, which skyrocketed in collector interest and brought mainstream media attention to the new presidential series. To understand the significance of the first presidential dollar coin, we must understand George Washington not in the typical textbook sense, but in the character carved into his portrait. On the obverse, the coin depicts Washington with a dignified, forward-facing stance reflecting authority and wisdom, and his name arcs above the portrait, while the years of his presidential term, 1789 to 1797, anchor the design. This was the beginning of a series that would follow chronological order, honoring each president with a distinct portrait. Reverse designs, however, stayed uniform, showing the Statue of Liberty in a bold, uplifting pose representing the spirit of American freedom. Designed by Don Everhart, this reverse combined consistency with symbolism, allowing the obverse side to change with each new president, while keeping the series visually unified. Production of the first presidential dollar coin triggered a nationwide push to encourage Americans to use dollar coins in daily spending, much like other countries successfully do with their high-value coins. But despite promotional efforts, including banks distributing rolls and the U.S. Mint advertising widely, Americans were resistant to replacing paper dollar bills. Still, the coin found its place among collectors, hobbyists, historians, and millions who appreciated the artistic, educational, and cultural value of the series. Each coin became more than currency. It became a miniature monument, a tribute to leadership, a spark for national reflection. As we explore deeper for this to our script, we move back into the minting halls where the first presidential dollar coin was crafted. The alloy composition: 88% copper, 6% zinc, 3.5% manganese, and 2% nickel, was chosen for durability, visibility, and accessibility. When blanks were punched, polished, and fed through presses at remarkable speed, the dies struck thousands of coins per hour, imprinting Washington's portrait with precision. Pressure and shine after striking, coins traveled through edge lettering machines, which rolled and inscribed the edges again, something unique for modern American coinage. The precision required here was immense, and any misalignment, misfeed, or skip created valuable variants and errors that collectors still chase today. With rollout day approaching February 15, 2007, banks and businesses prepared to distribute the new coin, opening the door to a modern era of coin collecting. People lined up not just for spending money, but for history in their hands. The beauty of the presidential dollar program was that it served multiple purposes. It honored presidents, it educated the public, it revitalized modern coin design, and it introduced millions to the world of numismatics. Children learned presidents through coins, adults rekindled interest in collecting, and the U.S. Mint embraced technological advances that allowed sharper details, better metal consistency, and more sophisticated design methods than ever before. George Washington's coins set the tone for the entire series, and soon coins featuring John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and many others followed, each one presenting unique portrait styles, each one crafted to reflect the personality and historical legacy of its respective president. But the first coin remained symbolic because it represented the launch, the opening chapter, the foundation stone of a series that would span years and transform modern American numismatic history. The first presidential dollar coin stands as a testament to national pride and artistic innovation. It reminds us that coins are more than money. They are storytellers. They travel through pockets, hands, wallets, drawers, and collections, carrying knowledge through generations. As we continue this to our journey, We will dive deeper into how Washington's coin was received by the public, how early collectors reacted, how rare varieties emerged, and how the release impacted the market. We will explore mintage numbers, circulation patterns, marketing strategies, and the surprising surge of attention brought by missing lettering errors. We will analyze its role in educational programs, discuss its impact on coin design philosophy, and examine how it inspired new collectors worldwide. The first presidential dollar coin is more than minted metal. It is a spark, a symbol, and a legacy, and it marks a bold chapter in the continuing story of American numismatics. And when you finish this documentary, you will not only understand this coin, you will feel its weight, its origin, its meaning, and its place in history, because this is the story of a nation told through a coin, and today that story begins with you holding the legacy of George Washington in your hand. Imagine holding a small golden coin in your hand, a coin that carries the weight of an entire nation's history, a coin that represents the presidents who shaped America from its earliest struggles to its rise as a global power. Imagine a coin that is more than metal, more than minting, more than monetary value. This is the story of the United States presidential first dollar coin, a story of ambition, innovation, legacy, and the enduring desire to celebrate the leadership that carved the path of a nation. Welcome to Coins, where history comes alive through the treasures we hold, and today you are about to enter the deep, fascinating, and powerful journey behind the iconic U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a coin that has become a symbol of heritage, artistry, politics, and national pride. And by the end of this story, you will never look at a dollar coin the same way again. Story of the presidential dollar coin begins long before the first strike in 2007. It starts with a centuries-long desire to honor American presidents through coinage, a tradition that arguably began with the Lincoln cent in 1909, but the concept of a full series dedicated to every late president did not take form until the 21st century, when lawmakers sought to reconnect Americans with their currency. The presidential dollar program was born from the spirit of education and celebration. Congress passed the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005, which called for a bold new coin series honoring the presidents of the United States in the order they served. Each coin would feature a portrait of a president on the obverse and a powerful depiction of the Statue of Liberty on the reverse, symbolizing the spirit of freedom that each president was sworn to protect. The act also introduced something revolutionary: the use of edge lettering, reintroducing a historic minting practice last seen regularly in the 19th century. Each coin would carry its year of minting, the mint mark, and the mottos E Pluribus Unum and In God We Trust etched along the edge, creating a distinct blend of old-world craftsmanship and modern innovation. When the first coin featuring George Washington was released in 2007, the excitement was immense. Collectors rushed to banks, lines formed, and millions of Americans encountered a new golden dollar unlike any they had seen before, struck in a beautiful manganese brass alloy, giving it a warm golden appearance that echoed the Sacagawea dollar, but with a new mission and message. The Washington dollar was more than a tribute. It marked the beginning of a series that promised to tell the story of America through its leaders. From Washington to Adams, Jefferson, Madison, and onward, each coin became a snapshot of an era, a moment in time preserved in metal, every portrait carefully sculpted to reflect the personality and legacy of the president. It represented the story of the presidential first dollar coin is not just about design, it is also about the challenges, the controversies, and the unexpected issues that shaped the program. Collectors remember the famous missing edge lettering error, where thousands of coins escaped the mint without their inscriptions, leading to sudden excitement and rarity. Demand soared, prices climbed, and collectors hurried to inspect every coin they could find, wondering whether they held a common piece or a rare treasure. The program became a perfect storm of history, artistry, technology, and collecting mystery, and this made the series even more captivating. Behind the scenes, the United States Mint invested heavily in cutting-edge technology to ensure precision. The dies were crafted to highlight every detail, from the curve of Washington's hair to the sharp edges of Jefferson's profile. Engravers studied historic paintings and life masks to recreate the most accurate likenesses possible. The reverse design, always featuring the Statue of Liberty, served as a constant reminder of the ideals that bind the nation together. This consistency created unity throughout the collection, while the obverse portraits brought individuality and historical significance as more coins were released. The story expanded with John Adams with the rise of the early American political system, with Jefferson, whose leadership doubled the size of the nation, with Madison, the father of the Constitution, with Monroe, who ushered in the era of good feelings. Each coin marked the complexities, achievements, and symbolism of their presidencies for viewers. This collection became a long chronological history lesson in metal, connecting modern America to its foundations. The coins told stories of war, peace, progress, crisis, and triumph, stories of hope and challenge, stories that redefined the course of global democracy. Presidential dollar coin program also highlights the struggles of the U.S. Mint to gain widespread public use for dollar coins. Although collectors embraced the series, many Americans continued to prefer the traditional paper dollar. As a result, the coins circulated less than expected, and most ended up in collectors' albums, vaults, and rolls. This created a strange dynamic, where the coins were minted in huge numbers yet barely seen in daily life, and still they remained beloved by enthusiasts who saw them as a once-in-a-generation historical series. The years went on. The release of each new president's coin marked a moment that united collectors across the country. The excitement for rare minting errors, unique satin finish coins, special uncirculated sets, and limited proof editions added depth to the hobby. The presidential dollar coin sets became prized possessions, especially the early issues where the golden luster and strong strikes reflected the highest craftsmanship of the mint. The later coins also gained attention as production numbers decreased, making some of the final presidents among the scarcest of the series. Some cannot talk about the presidential first dollar coin without acknowledging the artistry behind each portrait. Each sculptor brought a unique approach, capturing strength, integrity, wisdom, and character. Washington's dignified presence, Adams' determined gaze, Jefferson's calm intelligence, Madison's thoughtful expression, Monroe's confident posture. Every design told a visual story, reinforcing their legacy through finely etched metal details. This artistry elevates the series from simple coinage to miniature historical monuments, tiny golden canvases that keep America's story alive. As newer generations discovered these coins, they became educational tools for classrooms, documentaries, and historical discussions. Teachers used them to spark curiosity about early America, to explain political parties, to teach about wars, treaties, constitutional changes, expansions, and economic struggles. The coins connected children and adults to history in a way that felt tangible and exciting, a physical reminder that the past is not distant, but always present in our pockets. Collections and national memory. The presidential dollar series ended in 2016 with President Ronald Reagan completing a rich journey of over 2 centuries of American leadership, yet the legacy of series continues. Collectors still hunt for special errors, unique die varieties, high-grade slabs, first-day issue labels, and pristine proof versions. The presidential dollar coins remain highly collectible symbols of American storytelling, representing a bold experiment by the U.S. Mint to honor the nation's leaders and to bring history closer to the public. Story of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin is a story of how a simple object can embody the identity of a nation, how a small golden disc can represent revolutions, transformations, wars, innovations, and the evolving ideals of democracy. It is the story of the presidents who shaped the destiny of the United States, told through craftsmanship, technology, and artistic brilliance. And it is a reminder that every coin, no matter how small, carries a legacy far greater than its face value. In the end, the presidential first dollar coin stands as one of the most ambitious coin programs in American history, a shining symbol of the people who guided the nation through its triumphs and its challenges, a living archive in metal and a timeless treasure for collectors, historians, enthusiasts, and anyone who believes that The story of America is worth preserving and celebrating. This is the journey of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a journey filled with meaning, power, and the enduring spirit of a nation. And now, as you dive deeper into this 2-hour exploration, let the story unfold as the golden dollar reveals its secrets, its history, and its incredible place in the legacy of the United States. Imagine holding a blazing beacon of American power in the palm of your hand, a coin so legendary that it rewrote the very meaning of wealth, beauty, and national identity. Imagine a piece of gold that did not just serve as money but became a symbol of ambition, discovery, conflict, artistry, and the unstoppable rise of the United States. This is the story of the U.S. $20 gold double eagle, a coin born from the fires of the California gold rush, shaped by presidents, dreamers, miners, artists, and lawmakers. A coin whose history stretches from muddy mining camps to the polished halls of the U.S. Mint, from the pockets of railroad tycoons to the secret vaults of collectors. A coin that survived wars, depressions, politics, melting pots, and the test of time as it grew into one of the most iconic pieces of American numismatic heritage. Welcome to Coins, where history breathes and shines through the metal that built a nation. And today we open the vault of one of the greatest stories ever struck in gold. The saga of the double eagle begins in 1848, when whispers of gold in California explode into a nationwide fever and shiploads of fortune seekers rush west, dreaming of instant wealth, transforming a quiet territory into the heart of a revolution. And as gold floods into the country, the government realizes that America needs a powerful new coin, a coin large enough to represent the unimaginable flow of newly discovered treasure, a coin worthy of a growing nation that hungers for strength and stability. And so the idea of a $20 gold piece is born, a monumental denomination unlike anything American pockets had known before. It would take the vision of President Millard Fillmore and the mastery of Chief engraver James B. Longacre bring this new symbol to life, giving birth in 1850 to the first ever double eagle. The Liberty Head design rises from Longacre's hands, with Lady Liberty crowned with stars standing proud over a nation in transition, while the mighty eagle on the reverse spreads its wings in a display of power and promise, marking the dawn of a new era for American currency. As the coin enters circulation, it becomes the treasure of pioneers, sailors, bankers, and global merchants. Traded in ports from New York to Hong Kong, from London to Havana, its shine becomes a statement that America is here to compete, grow, and dominate the world of commerce. And across decades, as the Civil War tears the nation apart, the double eagle becomes a silent witness to victory, reconstruction, and the expansion of industry and opportunity. By the dawn of the 20th century, America stands stronger than ever, and President Theodore Roosevelt dreams of elevating American coinage into true art, refusing to accept what he called lifeless designs. He demands beauty, innovation, and glory. And so begins one of the most legendary collaborations in minting history, as master sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens transforms the double eagle into a masterpiece in 1907, creating what many call the most beautiful coin ever minted in the United States. The St. Gaudens double eagle, with its radiant liberty striding forward with a torch of enlightenment and an olive branch of peace, and the eagle soaring beneath a rising sun, becomes more than money, becomes sculpture, gold, art, history, and national pride fused in a single breathtaking strike. Collectors around the world covet it, museums display it, nations envy it. Yet even as the coin reaches the height of brilliance, storm clouds gather. The Great Depression devastates the economy, banks collapse, gold becomes a lifeline, and President Franklin D. Roosevelt issues one of the most dramatic orders in monetary history, calling back all circulating gold and halting the minting of gold coins forever. The double eagle era ends in 1933, but its story does not. A final batch of St. Gaudens double eagles struck that fateful year becomes the center of mystery, smuggling legends, courtrooms, and global headlines as they transform into some of the rarest coins on Earth, with a single specimen selling for tens of millions and capturing the imagination of the world today. The double eagle stands not just as a coin, but as a Time machine carrying the echoes of gold rush miners, industrial giants, presidents, and artists who shaped the nation. Its value lies not only in $20 of gold, but in the journey of a country that rose from frontier wilderness to world power. And in this to our story, we will travel through every turn of its creation, evolution, conflict, beauty, and legacy, exploring the birth of the Liberty Head, the rebirth of American artistry. Through St. Gaudens, the drama of the 1933 ban, the survival of rare specimens, the auction records that shook history, and the collectors still searching for the dream of owning a piece of American immortality. So sit back, open your mind, step into the past, and let the tale of the US $20 gold double eagle unfold as one of the greatest sagas ever minted in shining American gold. As we move deeper into the world of the double eagle, picture the mid-19th century American nation stretching wide with ambition, while waves of immigrants pour through eastern ports chasing dreams of prosperity and the promise of land and opportunity. The $20 gold piece becomes more than a currency, it becomes a symbol of the American dream. A physical weight of confidence carried by bankers, merchants, and explorers. And while paper money still struggles to trust, the double eagle becomes the anchor of faith in financial transactions. Its gold content giving reassurance in a rapidly expanding world. Railroads laid down iron pathways across the continent, and the double eagle travels with engineers, captains, merchants, and laborers crossing mountains, deserts, plains, and bustling industrial towns. Each coin carrying markings of its journey, scratches from trade counters, dents from satchels, and the faint shine of human hands that passed it along in bustling marketplaces and dusty frontier outposts. And as factories rise and smokestacks fill the sky, the double eagle stands tall as a beacon of stability in an era of rapid transformation. During the Civil War, its role becomes even more significant as gold becomes scarce, hoarded, and protected with a sense of desperation. The mint continues production, but circulation slows as uncertainty grips the nation. Citizens worry that the paper dollars printed to fund the war will crumble in value, and only the shining certainty of gold can restore confidence. So Americans hold their double eagles close, treating them as lifelines. In a time of upheaval after the war ends and the nation heals, the double eagle returns to the forefront of commerce, traveling with entrepreneurs who build the bridges, railroads, factories, and cities that define the new industrial age. The Liberty Head design evolves slowly, its details refined, its relief adjusted, its striking improved to match the needs of a growing economy now bustling with trade from coast to coast and overseas. Ships heavy with gold coins travel across the Atlantic to settle international debts and stimulate global markets. And the double eagle becomes known worldwide as a hard currency backed by a rising superpower, an undeniable testament to the strength of the United States. By the late 19th century, artistic taste begins shifting as America looks toward the classical beauty of European sculpture and architecture, longing for a national coinage that reflects artistic excellence as much as economic stability. And this dream finds its champion in President Theodore Roosevelt, who refuses to accept what he calls dead coins lacking vitality, depth, or character. He demands that American coinage rise to greatness inspired by the ancient masterpieces of Greece and Rome. And so he summons Augustus St. Gaudens, one of the greatest sculptors in the nation, to transform the double eagle into something transcendent. St. Gaudens studies liberty not as a static face, but as a living figure in motion, a goddess of freedom and hope stepping forward across time and nation, leading America toward the future. He imagines her with flowing robes, powerful stance, and a torch raised high, illuminating the path of progress, and an olive branch symbolizing peace. And on the reverse, he envisions a soaring eagle gliding over the rising sun, a symbol of strength, ambition, and the dawn of a new age. The collaboration between Roosevelt and St. Gaudens becomes a turning point in American numismatic history, and when the first St. Gaudens double eagles appear in 1907, collectors, dealers, and artists are stunned. The coin is a masterpiece, sculptural and bold, bursting with energy and breathtaking detail, carrying the essence of the American spirit within its golden surface. But the first high-relief versions proved difficult for the mint to strike, forcing Roosevelt and St. Gaudens to accept a lower relief version for mass production. Even so, the design remains one of the most celebrated in the history of world coinage, and its beauty becomes legendary, inspiring generations of artists, historians, and collectors. The story darkens once again with the arrival of the Great Depression. Banks struggle, businesses fail, unemployment rises, and the nation trembles under financial collapse. Americans rush to withdraw gold, hoping to protect their savings. But the government faces a terrifying prospect, a complete drain of the nation's gold reserves that threatens to destroy economic stability. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt steps in with bold, sweeping actions, issuing Executive Order 6102, which demands that all citizens surrender their gold coins and bullion to the Treasury, bringing the age of gold coin circulation to a dramatic halt. The double eagle instantly transforms from a circulating emblem of wealth into a forbidden relic, no longer legal to hold or trade except in rare collectible exemptions. Minting stops.